It's Barbie Tuesday, and you need to hear about the new autistic Barbie from an autistic person who is obsessed with Barbie. I know a lot of you might try to be like, oh, but you have bias as somebody who has a special interest in Barbie. But I am also somebody who is very active in the autism community, and there's a lot of division in the community itself. I made an Instagram post talking about the only really two valid criticisms you can make against autistic Barbie. That would be the fact that they collaborated with ASAM, which has history and roots of Aspie supremacy and racism, but also the fact of the whole consumerism, like rainbow pride kind of thoughts and feelings on taking advantage of certain minorities. And unfortunately, in community, I'm seeing a lot of self-centered horribleness when it comes to critiquing this Barbie. On the autistic side, I'm seeing a lot of Aspie supremacy takes of like, well, that Barbie looks nothing like me, or that Barbie has all the stereotypical things that autistics use. I don't use those. And that's an issue because there's a lot of us that do. And one of the biggest groups that are not heard in our community is non-speaking people. So it was pretty groundbreaking to see this Barbie with an AAC device. Another issue with this is that like the whole idea of like, well, all Barbies can be autistic. Sure. But here's the thing with children, a lot of times are very literal. They need to see aspects of themselves to really feel represented. So when you're arguing about all of the things that she has, well, a child sees that in themselves and it makes them happy. And you're really only looking at that from a very low support needs, probably late diagnosed kind of aspect of it. And that's not saying to everybody who's low supports or late diagnosed. I'm late diagnosed. I'm not low supports, but I'm late diagnosed. But that's the issue. Another big deal about the autistic Barbie is the fact that she wasn't white. And a lot of people pointing out that this Barbie doesn't look like me tends to really reflect on some inner racist issues that some of you have. And the thing is, if she doesn't look like you know what you do? You put clothes on her that make you feel more seen. You change your hair. You can switch out which devices you use because that's how you play with Barbie. And if you feel like you'd be more seen with a white Barbie, then put her things on white Barbie. It's that simple. That's how Barbie play works. And in the same breath of actual autistic people complaining about the Barbie, I am seeing a lot of very harmful things coming from autistic parents themselves. There's a lot of people using AI to make it look more like their child, and it is very upsetting, some of these pictures. I saw one where it was an image of a child covered in bruises with piles of broken iPads and McDonald's. And as much as the same people critiquing this Barbie on the autistic side, I don't think they realize how much they are really siding with the autistic parents on this one that they constantly try to really talk about a lot as being malicious. You guys are going hand in hand on this subject. So I really need you to understand that. Me, personally, I love the Barbie. I think she's great. As somebody who has been in child development for 10 years, on top of it all, of being an autistic person who has special interest in Barbie, as much as people want to try to pick it apart and talk about how it's not really that groundbreaking, but in a lot of ways it is. And the thing is, in order to get anywhere with even more representation for us in things like this is a wonderful way to start. So even if you see the critiques and it's upsetting you, and you don't know if you could actually have this Barbie or not, the only thing I say is to make sure you're aware of the two valid criticisms. That's ASAN's history and the consumerism aspect of it all. But everybody else, their complaints are not valid. It's all very much centered in some type of internalized ableism or racism or just not understanding how children learn about representation. And that is really all that is. But also, I saw some other critiques about how people are like, well, how's this going to teach children about autism if it's quote-unquote stereotypical? Because when you get these types of dolls to help children understand, you have to have conversations with them. That's how children learn, is through conversation and learning through conversations. So it is a talking point for parents who do want their children to know more about autistic kids. And just because it has one specific look, which is higher supports, which means more, representation, that doesn't mean that that's the only conversation you're going to have is about higher supports. You're going to have it about the whole spectrum. It's really, I don't understand why people are making it more than this, other than getting into their own personal traumas and biases. Yeah, I'll see you next Tuesday.